Hey everybody,
we're back.
Welcome to Sofa Spouses. I'm Gabe.
I'm Amanda. I got a haircut since
Yep.
the last time you saw me.
So,
Just really quick, we're gonna have a later video where
we're going to talk about the channel and
the
stuff
channel.
and
We know we've been
updates.
away for a long time.
We have been away for a while now.
Things have been kind of crazy, but we thought, what better?
Yeah, what better time to come back than
Wakanda forever! And boy, is it good.
That was a good movie. We're going to be giving you guys a movie review right now. We just went and saw it today.
Mm-hmm.
So in the IMAX, so good. That was so amazing. Gosh,
it is beautifully shot.
Beautifully shot. So
is
good.
Amazing.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna give you guys a real quick rundown, our spoiler-free thoughts on the movie, and then we're gonna go into spoilers because it's just
it's
too
really
much to
kind of hard to. If we try to do like a full spoiler review, and this is one thing we kind of talked about as we were coming back, we kind of like doing kind of spoiler-free thoughts, and then saying spoiler, because doing just non-spoiler reviews
it's
hard, especially really in a movie like this.
I don't know how reviewers do it all the time. It's
because they're so. It's so hard, and then some movies you just can't. There's certain and plots that are just it's like if you do a non-spoiler, you're not going to have anything to say.
Yeah, exactly.
For example, Knives Out 2 that's coming up. So
that's
you can't really hard.
So, but anyway, so we'll go ahead and get into the spoiler-free review. Needless to say, go see this movie. Is so good.
Yes.
They tie everything together so well.
Oh, you already got stuff on your shirt.
I did. Oh no. Oh well.
This is a new shirt.
I'll cut that out. But anyway, but no, needless to say, go see the movie, guys. It's so good. It's so good. It's so worth it.
Any doubts
on how good it would be, it just let it go out the window because it is so good. The action is just perfect, spot on. The cultural references for both African and
Mexican Mayan
culture is perfect.
Yeah.
Just all sorts of different.
The acting is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Angela Bassett. I would say, and I kind of said this from the trailers, just the clips they put in the trailers, that the people who are going for Oscars better keep an eye on this. And after this movie, I think they should still.
Definitely.
It's got a nomination before. I guarantee you they're probably going to nominate this. In fact, I saw something the other day that I didn't really read it because I didn't really want any spoilers.
Yeah.
But basically saying that Angela Bassett is already kind of being floated around.
Yep, most likely.
And she's very good in it. She's a very good actress. The actress who plays Suri is amazing. Suri has an amazing actress.
She has amazing.
I know a lot of people are like, oh, why why did they make Shuri Black Panther? This movie shows you why.
Yeah, that was kind of a spoiler.
Well, most people figured.
Yeah, most people kind of figured it out by now, but yeah,
it is kind of a spoiler. But I think most people figured it out, which is why I didn't mind.
Yeah,
saying that.
But anyway, so
sorry.
Before we spoil anything else, basically, going through this movie, it was so good. We very much recommend it. Recommend it. It has the sofa approved sticker or a stamp of the sofa. Okay, I totally messed up on trying to make that up. Anyway, so
the sofa spouse's stamp of approval.
Yes, it has the sofa spouse's stamp of approval.
So basically, what I just said kind of starts our non-spoilers. Yes. So stop at the if you don't want to hear after that. Point, stop when I say Shuri's arc is good.
Yeah. So at this point, spoilers all the way.
But like I said, I think most people had really already kind of figured that out. I don't think they really hid that in the trailers.
No. But anyway, guys. So spoilers. So good.
M'Baku, I like him. He's cool. So fun in this.
He's fun. He's so good.
Absolutely hilarious. The Dora Milaje.
As usual, very good.
Perfect. The actress who plays Okoye, oh my gosh, she has a very good arc.
She does have a really good arc too.
Just very good arc.
I love the underwater Mayan people.
Yes, the underwater Mayan people. The underwater scenes are great. Underwater
scenes are actually really well done.
Yes,
very well
done. It's Namor is actually a pretty interesting character. Yeah,
a very interesting character. He goes by Namor for his enemies, which is interesting. But it's just like he's
when you see the one part that we won't spoil.
Yeah.
You understand why.
Yeah.
But it's very. I don't know. It starts. It pulls you in right away.
It pulls you in right away.
You see basically T'Challa's death.
Yep.
At the very beginning, they never say exactly what happens.
Exactly what happens, and they don't actually show him.
They really couldn't.
Obviously, they can't because
even if they wanted to.
But it was the way they did it was very well done. It was very well.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they didn't come out and say it was cancer, which is what Patrick Boseman unfortunately passed away of. And was it 2020? Yeah, 2020, early 2020, wasn't it? Or no, later 2020. I think the pandemic was going on.
Yeah, it was.
But he. They never said if it was cancer. They never said
it was cancer, but it was some kind of disease.
That was incurable.
Incurable disease.
And I know a lot of people kind of wanted them to make it cancer just because he did so much work with kids that had cancer.
Yeah.
And I think it would be cool to say that
it would be kind of cool to say that was
what that died had from cancer and fought it in real life as well. And even though they both died from it, they still left an impact, both of them.
Yep.
In the world of Marvel and in the real world. So I think that would have been cool. But then, it's kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
Too much art imitating life.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was interesting. Very well done.
Yes.
Shuri is front and center from the beginning.
Yeah, she is definitely.
Is it Siri?
Siri is definitely.
Siri. I'm saying it wrong. Siri.
Siri is definitely the main character.
Is it Siri or Suri? It's
Suri. I think Suri.
Yeah, Shuri.
But Shuri is definitely the main character in this story. She becomes the Black Panther, like Amanda said.
Yeah.
And
like I said, everybody kind of was starting to figure that out, even from the trailers, that it was her. Lupita Nyong'o, I'll tell you, that young lady just has had one heck of a ride. And I get more impressed with her every time I see her. She took that part, she came back, it felt like the brilliance of this movie is it felt like it hadn't been that long.
No, yeah.
Since this first one came out.
Yeah.
It just took you right back in there. Like from the second it started, you were like, oh.
Back in Wakanda. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it didn't feel like that.
All that much time had passed.
No, and she just came in. We can't talk a lot about her arc.
Yeah.
Because there's a really big spoiler that we will not touch.
Yeah, we don't want to touch that.
We don't want to touch that because it's kind of a very pleasant surprise of a spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't even say what I want to say because you might figure out what it is if I say what I want to say right now.
Yeah.
But I think that we do get to see her character go back into undercover work, and we find out where she's been.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem like her character got blipped. Shuri does not talk about that. That's not really mentioned. A lot of people thought the scene where she's all, have I not sacrificed everything, was a reference to the time of the blip, but it is not.
It's a totally different scenario, actually. She's not even talking to the world. She's just talking to the talking to her council.
To Okoye, actually.
To Okoye, yeah.
But so it's not really mentioned that her and T'Challa just got blipped. I hope there's some other movie where we find out what happened to the people that got blipped. Like, did they really die, or did they really just go somewhere else?
I think they just disappeared, and they had it was like missing time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but
it's interesting to hear people talk about it.
Yeah.
If they were all together in this one, I think multiverse now in this realm.
I think the best explanation actually is what's her name's in the Arrow, or not in Yelena's story arc in Hawkeye.
Yeah, because she thinks I don't know how many people have seen it.
It shows her.
If you haven't seen
Hawkeye yet, watch it. But there's a great explanation for the blip and how it kind of was seen for the perspective of the people who got blipped.
Yeah, with Yelena. Which she's coming back, good. Everybody. And if you love Yelena and you haven't watched if you love Yelena's character in Black Widow, you need to watch Hawkeye too, because she was amazing. Florence Pugh is amazing, and she's coming back for Thunderbolts!
Yep.
Yeah,
gonna be excited.
But anyway.
So yeah, but no, Black Panther was so good. I loved getting to see all of the new tech that we get to see in Wakanda. We actually get to see a Wakandan sea vessel, which is different.
Yeah, and planes and
they have a whole bunch of different
like ships that just beam you up like you're going up in the.
They had those in the first movie.
It's been a while since I watched the first movie.
A lot of different cool stuff in the movies or in the movie. But another thing that I thought was kind of interesting was the dynamic for the world, the world's reaction to, because in the last movie the world was just finding out about Wakanda. Wakanda, they like it was a nation that was known about, but it wasn't like nobody ever went there, and so they didn't know they were heavily amazing technology or anything like that. And then suddenly they came out onto the world stage with this crazy, amazing technology utilizing vibranium and all this other stuff. And now suddenly they become a huge target on their back. And then T'Challa dies, and so the world starts thinking, oh, their protector is gone. They've got a target. They got a target on their back now, and so different world powers think that they can just get in there and take the technology from them and stuff like that, and it's not the case. So,
and you also get to see basically, I want to say the Mayan version of Atlantis.
Yeah, we see the Mayan version of Atlantis. It's not actually Atlantis. It's not called Atlantis. Mm-hmm. It's called something else. I can't even pronounce it.
Tiklan.
Tiklan or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But it's really cool. It's really cool. And when they pan in on it, you can see I was thinking, I'm like, this is Mayan, and supposedly this was taken directly from the Mayan culture. And you can see, I was telling Gabe, I said, yeah, that's like a Mayan game. This is like the Mayan version of Atlantis.
Yeah. And apparently, if you think about it, according to the story, in this story, it's not really necessarily a huge plot spoiler, but in the story, the reason that the underwater people live underwater is because they ingest a vibranium infused plant that helps them to overcome smallpox from when the Spanish
you don't get why invaded. Yeah.
And they end up going and living underwater. And apparently, I guess this plant also increases their lifespan by like an insane amount.
Yeah, obviously.
And strength and stuff like that.
Because if you know your history, that was
1600s?
Yeah,
1500s, 1600s. And so, Namor is like hundreds and hundreds of years old.
And looks very good for his age. The actor's a very handsome man.
So
he is. I'm not going to deny it. He was very handsome.
So I mean,
girls, comments. Come on, he was handsome.
So he's like hundreds and hundreds of years old. But obviously, them living underwater that whole time, they designed and made their own technologies, and
it's really cool.
It's all based on all of this. Their culture and still heavily based on ancient Mayan culture, because their lifespans were drastically increased, and so the culture and stuff they had back during the Mayan times stayed with them because their lifespans were drastically increased. So it's an interesting story, and something I never thought about or considered what would happen to a civilization if their lifespans were drastically increased.
And if you don't know, if you don't understand the smallpox thing, and it wasn't just the explorers, it was also the people that came to eventually become the settle and stuff.
They brought all kinds of diseases with them, and smallpox was one of them.
And there's also the famous story that when they started to kind of want to just take the land and get rid of them,
they would just give them blankets that had been infected
with smallpox.
Yeah. So
and that was just not Mexico either. That was done in the United States.
Yeah, that was done in the United States. That was done everywhere. That's just colonizer techniques of trying to get rid of natives.
It's it was great to see that, because Mayan culture doesn't get talked about a lot. And it was very important culture, and and there are still descendants. I have a friend, who lived in Belize for 5 years, and one of her best friends, kind of adopted sister slash cousin, was a descendant of Mayan culture, and so that culture still exists.
Yep.
And it's, I mean, granted, it's, I think in some ways probably even more kind of, well, I don't want to say that because I can't say for sure, but unfortunately, a lot of Native American culture has, whether you're talking about Mayans or Cheyenne or Navajo, has been kind of forgotten.
Yeah, a lot of.
But if you watch Facebook video now, you've got a lot of these young Native Americans that are like, "Hey, we're bringing it back."
Trying to bring it back.
We don't want to forget it, and it's amazing. And I've shared a lot of those videos.
That's awesome. Like we need.
There's a real funny one too about this guy who's doing funny comedy things about it. If you look on my Facebook page, I might try to find it and put it on our Sofa Spouses because it's funny.
Yeah, it is pretty funny.
It's hilarious.
But anyway, so but yeah, then there's some other big major spoilers that we're not going to get into, that are kind of like huge for the MCU. There is a post-credit scene, so you want to.
It's kind of, I see why, because I read something the other day that said there was. I can see why, and you'll understand this when you see it.
Consider it not to be one
post-credit scene,
because it kind of ties in very well with the rest of the movie, so it doesn't feel like.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel
like it.
There's a
lot of most of the MCU's post-credit scenes have always been like completely unrelated, and they're just kind of like a cliffhanger or whatnot.
Yeah, but
this one doesn't really feel like a cliffhanger.
But that's all we're saying.
Helps to expand the story a little bit more.
Very much to expand the story. And it makes you very excited for the next one.
It does make you very excited for the rest of the.
Which there's going to be.
Definitely. It did say that there's going to be a return.
Black Panther will return, but it also said the Eternals will return. We really haven't heard anything about that yet either, so But they're busy.
Anyway, guys. So yeah, it was so good.
And Chadwick Boseman, I'll tell you, the last little scene they did,
very emotional.
Where I didn't.
You teared up.
Yes, I did. I didn't blubber, but
It was definitely.
Siri decides to just kind of go and relax somewhere and take some time off out of everything that's happened. And she does something her mother told her to do.
Yep.
And during that time, they do a very
touching
collage of scenes of her and T'Challa.
It was very good. Very good.
By the end of it, I was, because you think, oh no, you'd be doing that at the beginning when he dies in the beginning, But, I think when you got to that point, because you were so involved in the story, you'd almost forgotten. You really almost forgot that a real person died.
Yeah.
You really did. You almost forgot, even though his name wasn't in the credits, and even though they had the really cool Chadwick Boseman Memorial Black Panther Marvel thing where they go Marvel at the beginning.
Yeah, that is worth mentioning. At the very beginning of the movie, right after they have the is it right after the funeral procession?
Yeah,
I believe it's right after the funeral procession. They do the traditional Marvel.
But they
intro,
put that out special on the video when he died too. They put that out.
But yeah, it was completely, all of the graphics on the inside of the logo were all Chadwick as.
And even though they had that.
Let me finish talking.
Sorry.
All of the
interrupted me a little bit.
But all of the the imagery was all T'Challa, and then they went completely silent. It was like their opportunity to have a moment of silence for him. Like Marvel giving you the opportunity to have a moment of silence.
Yeah. And even the end little part kind of felt like that too.
Yeah.
But it was so funny because, like I was trying to say, even though they had that, they had, the funeral at the. I mean, they jumped right in to the funeral. Like I wasn't expecting that.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was like the very beginning of the movie.
It's right in, and when they do a nice zoom in on that mural you've seen in the trailers and everything, and even though all of that happened, the movie pulls you in so much that it wasn't until that moment where they start doing that and that you suddenly remember the real person died.
Yeah, and that's when it really hits you.
And it's just, and you feel sad. I have liked him as an actor since I saw him in 42. If you've not seen that movie about Jackie Robinson, see that? He's very good in it. Harrison Ford also gives a very underrated performance, and
it was a very good movie.
And he was amazing. And I remember when they announced him, and I realized I hadn't really heard his name in a long time from that. And even though I'm a pretty big movie fan, I don't always keep up on every movie stars movies.
Yeah.
But and I realized that was the same guy. I was like, oh wow, I can't wait. And because I knew he was a very good actor. I still need to see his movie on James Brown. I have not gotten the movie he did about James Brown, which he's supposedly also very good in.
Yeah.
And I still want to see that. And he was just a really, and from the moment when he was in Civil War, I fell in love with him. I remember sitting next to him and I was like, I really like Black Panther. He is cool.
Yeah.
And he just took you in from that moment. And then when we saw the actual movie, it was kind of funny. When we saw Black Panther, we went to a very late showing because it was the only one we could get. The only time that we had that week, I think it was.
I forget.
To go do it. And we did it, and there was hardly anybody in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
Today, there wasn't very much.
It was very much. It was the afternoon showing though.
Yeah, we went to the 3:30. RMX has been doing
the very first showing of the movie is at 3:30.
And then
3 o'clock
latest,
or something.
I think the latest was what, 7:30? Probably like 7:30 because we got out at 6.
There were 2 showings today. And I think they're gonna have 3 tomorrow. But
was the other one 7? Probably 7:30 because we got out like right at 6 o'clock.
So yeah.
But anyway, it is so worth it. It doesn't feel long at all.
It's so worth it. It's not a very long. It's not a humongously long movie. I think it's about 2.5 hours maybe. Mm-hmm. But it's very good. Such a good movie.
It's so well done. I think once you see it, any complaints you had about the decision Marvel made about the T'Challa character,
it doesn't matter whether you were. Honestly, it doesn't matter whether you were pro recast, not recast. You'll be happy with what they did.
Yes, you will. And
so,
why we're not really touching on that is because that has something to do with our big spoiler. But anyway, but I think, you could feel the emotion from the cast just in there. I can imagine how hard this was for them to make.
Yeah.
You could sense it. I mean, when in the beginning, when Suri basically grabs the casket as they're getting it pulled down, and Angela Bassett is, of course, playing this queen who's supposed to take over and has to be strong, but she just grabs the casket and starts crying uncontrollably, and I'm sitting there going, I wonder how much of that is acting and how much of that was real. Because I imagine how, to see, and their coffins are really cool, by the way.
Oh yeah, they have really cool.
They're like black, and his coffin is like black.
They're made out of they're probably made out of vibranium.
But they have an etching of the Black Panther, his Black Panther in it, and
it's so good.
It's really cool, and it's. I wondered how much of that was acting and how much, because I can imagine, I can imagine when they're filming that scene and then you see the casket.
Yeah.
And I imagine most of them probably went to as well. I don't know how many actually got to go to, so maybe that was, it could have been very well, because who knows how many of them actually got to go, because he died during COVID, I think. So that could have been very real for all of them. But yet they were playing.
Could have been really very real.
This character. But so they couldn't
Yeah.
But if you saw, the reason I say that about when she grabs the casket, you saw the little thing, the little presentation they did at D23. You could tell that they played brother and sister, and a very close brother and sister at that. And you had great chemistry when they had scenes together. It was great. I remember that from the first movie.
Yes, I do.
And you could tell when she was standing there and they were talking, she just kind of kept looking like he should be here.
First alert.
Yeah. You could tell, you could just tell, she was thinking he should be here.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole time, and he should, and I think that's what's powerful about that last moment is you watch that and you're just like, he should be in this movie and getting the accolades, and
he should. But anyway,
he left a great legacy.
He did,
and I think that I think it was great that they made it a tribute.
Yeah, and the whole movie was basically a tribute. So
and it was. I will say this, as someone who has dealt a lot with grief recently in my life. I lost family members not long after they were married, almost seemingly right after the other at a certain point. And I've just lost a lot of family members, and a good friend of mine. Recently, the first time I lost a friend of mine that was close to my age from cancer, and other family members that have passed, and it's a great movie about grief.
Yeah, it is very good.
And I think that's why the end part is so emotional too, because when you think, by the time you get to that point, you realize the true message is about grief.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one other thing we won't spoil it, but it's also a very pleasant surprise.
Yes.
So, if you know what the things we're not spoiling that are, do not mention in the comments if you've already seen the movie.
Yes, no spoilers in the comments, guys.
We want to keep those two things very,
this is a spoiler. This is a spoiler video that we're talking now.
But we're not the type of spoiler video where we go into every single thing.
Yes. No spoilers.
Because those, I'm sorry, I like some of them, but some of them you're just like, come on, guys, you don't need to spoil that much.
So,
but
if you want to talk spoilers, go find yourself a private chat somewhere,
Yeah. Because there are two things that we actually, ironically, didn't really talk about the second one in the car, but on the way home. But we're definitely not saying anything about that. But anyway, it's as I was saying, it's a very good message.
Very good movie. Very good message on grief. But yes, we definitely recommend you go see it. Go watch it. Give it as much money as you possibly can. go watch it multiple times if you feel like you can. We're going to go ahead and call this video. Thanks for watching, guys.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. Make sure that you get more video. Keep an eye out for our next video. We're going to be talking more about the channel, and trying to. We're going to be talking more about the our upload schedule and stuff like that. So
yeah, it's just been a crazy couple of months. It really has. This year has gone by so fast. We can't believe it's already November.
Yeah.
So, and November's already going fast too. It's like today's the 10th. So.
Yep. Anyway, guys.
But anyway, Wakanda forever. Al Mumbai. R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.